Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the fourth day in a row of live streaming. This will be the final day this week. I've been doing all of this to promote my new weekly live show through my Patreon page. So if you do end up enjoying these streams this week and want to see more, I'll be on Patreon every Thursday answering questions and deep diving into YouTube topics and all sorts of stuff every week. So head over to www.patreon.com/JoshFenn if you do want to see more. We'll be still streaming on here occasionally, but if you do want to see this every week, this will be the final day of my daily streams. But yeah, once a week I'll be on Patreon, and I will continue to come on here occasionally just because this is so much fun getting to chat with everybody. But looks like we've got a few people in the chat already. Hey Sam, hey Cameron, hey Mike, Mr. O. Let's see. Oh, Cameron saying the audio is ahead. I tried to correct from yesterday. Let me go ahead and get this fixed really quick. Switch this. There we go. Close that down. How is that sounding? Does that sound a little bit better? I always appreciate my friend Cameron coming in and helping me out. He actually has had his own live streaming podcast show called the Infinite Variety Show. So feel free to click through. I think you can go to people's profiles through the chat, but check him out if you haven't already. Is this sounding better though? Everybody, is the audio syncing up okay? Let's see what the chat is. All right. Audio check from anybody. Let's see. We sounding better now? Perfect. All right, so let's just jump in. We've got a few questions already. So Sam, he had asked, I have a slow metabolism. I want to weigh much lower but keep my muscle but lose fat. What should I do in regarding to the food I eat? Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Something to keep in mind, this is going to be the case for any situation. When you're dieting, you want to do your best to maintain your muscle mass without losing it along with the fat, because when you're eating at a caloric deficit and when you're losing weight, your body will eat away at the fat and the muscle. So you want to make sure and keep and retain as much of that muscle as you can. There are a few important things to keep in mind when you're doing that. First one being, slow and steady. You want to lose weight, at a really healthy, slow pace. Generally about 1 to 2 pounds per week is going to be optimal. I always recommend to aim for about 500 calories less than you burn every day. So just stick to that number. It might mean you lose weight a little bit slower, but you're going to keep all of your sweet gains that you made in the gym, and it's going to pay off, and it's just going to be that much easier for you to continue losing weight down the road as well. So that's point number one. Point number two, make sure that you're getting your proper protein intake. Your body will eat your muscle as protein essentially if you're not getting enough. You want to aim for 0.7 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of lean mass. This is something people tend to overshoot and overdo. You don't need a you don't need a gram of protein per pound of body weight. You don't need a whole gram of protein per pound of lean weight. You want 0.7 to 0.8 grams per pound of lean mass. For me, it's been a while since I've calculated it, but I think it was somewhere around 100 to 130 grams of protein. It's a lot lower than a lot of the old school bodybuilders will tell you, but that's been proving successful for me. So those are the two big things. Also, one last thing, make sure that you're working out all of the muscles that you want to keep. It's very much a use it or lose it sort of scenario when it comes to maintaining that muscle. So try all those things if you haven't already. Mike Lightyear love the channel. I'm always a fan of when you do these live streams, but I'm at work. Well, I'm sorry about that. Hopefully we can catch you on a time that you're not at work. It's tough to schedule this with a global audience, because everyone is in different time zones, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning for me. I went on a couple days ago. I did the live stream more in the evening, and I only had one person show up. So it seems like more people seem to be available right now, but I'm definitely open to tweaking these times for what's going to work best for everybody. So keep that in mind. I'll probably continue to test a few different times of the day, a few different days of the week. Maybe make sure and catch a weekend one for those office workers out there. But I really appreciate you popping in at least to say hi, even if you're at work. Mr. O, hey there. Hey, how are you doing? Let's see, Cameron. Yep, got your audio. Hello, better. It's okay. Bump it one more time, almost there, only slightly ahead on the audio. All right, let me jump back in. Tweak this really quick. Let's see how that is. All right, so audio is reset once again. Hopefully that works. Let's see. Ryan, what are your thoughts on cleansers, detox before starting your diet? For example, wild rose detox. I've never heard of the wild rose detox, but detoxes and cleanses and all of that stuff in general, I think is mostly hokum. I think at its core, cleaning out your diet can be a good thing, and it can really help jumpstart your weight loss maybe a little bit faster. But it's definitely not something that's necessary, and it's definitely not something that's going to make you healthier. People will say it's a detox for your liver or for your body to get all the toxins out. If you had bad toxins in your body, your liver would have already failed. That's your liver's job. So as long as you have a working liver, you don't really need to worry about that sort of stuff. But yeah, it can be a good way to jumpstart sometimes, but it's not typically something I'd recommend for everybody. Sam, thank you. That was awesome advice. No problem. I actually have made a video about that too. I forgot what it's called, but make sure to check that out. I've also made a couple of videos specifically about protein intake. That might be the videos I'm referring to, but I can't remember. But yeah, make sure to look through the backlog. I've covered just about every weight loss topic I could possibly think of. That's why I've been kind of shifting some of the content to be a little bit more open and different genres and types of things, because you guys know everything I know about weight loss. Feels like that for me sometimes, at least. Let's see, just joined in. Hello, UDUCFUL, UDUSFUL. Hello. It's 1:25 in NYC. Good old East Coast time. I'm originally from Michigan, so we were in the same time zone, so I'm used to working around that with family and friends back home. Tom Sawyer, what kind of books do you read? Nice name for this question. What do you like to read? Michael Connolly, David Baldacci, etc. I am pretty open to a lot of different books. I tend to read more like pulpy, fun fiction sort of books more than nonfiction. Some people that read a lot kind of scoff at the fiction and fun stories, but I see reading as a form of entertainment. I get a lot of my education through the internet, so I don't read a ton of nonfiction books, but I do love different biographies and stuff like that. One that comes to mind right off the bat for nonfiction, Modern Romance by Aziz Ansari, was a surprisingly great book. Not that I thought it was going to be bad, but you think of like a comedy person, that it would be some, lighthearted, simple book. But he actually worked with some scientists, and it was a surprisingly substantial and informative book, and I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, I read a lot of like sci-fi and fantasy and mystery books. Some more recent ones that I've really enjoyed and read, Ernest Cline's Ready Player One and Armada are two of my recent favorites that have come out. Something I have been really wanting to check out, Andy Weir, he wrote The Martian. He just came out with a new book called Artemis that I saw. I downloaded it. I haven't had the chance to read it yet, but I am really, really hoping to. And there's also, forgot his name. It was Daniel Auerbach, I think, wrote a book called Pen Pal. It was actually a short story on the No Sleep subreddit that he fleshed out into a full book. The reading level was a little basic, but oh my gosh, I loved that story so much. I just saw he put out another book that I have to catch up on. Things have just been a little crazy for the last year or so I haven't read as much very recently as I would like to, but working on correcting that now. Let's see. All right. But yeah, I haven't actually, I don't think I'm familiar with either of the authors you mentioned, but I'll check that out for sure. Chris, hey, good seeing you live again. Hey, Chris, how's it going? And damn cold. Yeah, in NYC, very cold, useful. Cameron, literally perfect sync. Thank you so much for the update. Now I have my settings dialed in for the future. Yeah, it's been a learning curve this week, so I'm glad it's finally figured out. Christian Durbin, really liking your live streams and listening in. Any interest in the Arnold going on this weekend? I didn't realize that was this weekend. I guess, yeah, it's January. It's that time of year again. I went to the Arnold, actually. It was the first year I started my Instagram. I hadn't actually started up the YouTube channel yet, but the Bearded Fat Loss Instagram account was up and running. So I went there to meet Brian Turner and Obese to Beast and kind of hang out, see if I knew anybody there. It was a fun time. We had a heck of a time finding parking in Columbus, though. Yeah, it was a good time, but for me, I'm way across the country now. I actually drove there from Michigan back when I lived there. A lot of the bodybuilding stuff, like I said, I'm kind of shifting away from it a bit, but of course, I would always love to travel and go to that sort of stuff. Once the the money starts coming in a little bit stronger, I'd love to do more expos and events. Also, all of the camera and tech events, I think would be a ton of fun. Rohan, hi, how's it going? I just found out your fan club on Twitter, feeling amazed to see. I actually just saw that too. I'm pretty sure someone made that last night. Yeah, very flattering. But they set up a fan page, tweeted out my Spotify link, and tweeted at Matt Davella to have me on the Ground Up show. That'd be super cool if he sees that. But Gary Vee was his last podcast guest, so I'm not keeping my fingers and not holding my breath, I should say. But yeah, the fan club thing, they actually tweeted out, my Spotify link. We were talking on the stream yesterday. If anyone missed my post on Twitter or on the community tab on YouTube, I actually set up a Spotify playlist for songs that inspire me for my YouTube videos, or all just sort of inspirational videography and cinematography songs that I find. Usually they're just from the Spotify daily mixes. If I hear something I like or hear something that might sound good in a video coming up, I'll save it. So that's that playlist. If you do want to follow it, let me grab a link here and I'll post it in the chat if anyone wants to see. So if you're on Spotify, check this out. You can kind of hear some of the music that I like and listen to. I'm working on adding a couple of more playlists to this list for everyone to follow, because it's super exciting for me that people are interested. Music is such a huge part of my life. I was a musician before I started doing any of this, and music's always just been a huge part of my life, and being able to share that side of me with you in that way is super exciting. The medium of video isn't always the greatest to share my music tastes with everybody. I'm not going to make a video of me sitting, listening to music and, asking you what you think about it one-sided. But yeah, I thought that'd be a good way to share. So if you do want to hear kind of some of the music, if you like what I use on my YouTube channel, that's the playlist I pull from if I'm not using my music subscription licensing service. Let's see here. Ryan Blundell, what are your most frequently used productivity apps on your iPhone, if any? Let me see. I use the Notes app quite a bit. I don't think there's really any other productivity apps I use, though. I keep a pretty lean phone. I'm on a single page right now. Still planning on doing that What's on My Phone video. A bunch of people have been asking for it lately, so I'll have to keep that in mind. But yeah, I don't really have any productivity apps. I'm a big fan of the bullet journal. I'm not using it on a daily basis right now, but once things settle down with my routines and get a little bit more structured, I am excited to bring that back into my life. But yeah, I am an avid notes app user. Let's see what else we got here. Adam Wright, I love your schedule. It's right on my lunch break, so that's perfect. Hope you're doing well today. Doing very well. It's been a sleepy few days. I still feel like I haven't recovered from my late night videography gigs this past weekend, and Wolfie has been waking me up to eat breakfast. This morning was at 4:30 a.m. He is relentless, and he also is just a master manipulator. He knows what to do to get me out of bed. He learned a while back that if he's a jerk about it, I won't get up. But if he acts extra sweet, I'll usually get up and feed him. So he will come and plop on me and start purring and all sorts of funny stuff. But yeah, he got me up at 4:30 this morning, so I'm feeling a bit tired, but otherwise doing very well. I was wondering if a few of your favorite musical artists are. What's the local music scene out there like? Great question. A few of my favorite artists. This is always a tough question. It's always a moving target for me, but I'll just kind of go through a few of my classics. Sigur Rós is first one that comes to mind. They are an Icelandic post-rock band. It's actually one of their songs translated was Good Weather for Airstrikes, which is what we named my band back when I used to be in a band. They are a huge inspiration to me. I love their music so much. Definitely one of my favorite all-time bands. Beyond there, Chris Bathgate is another musician that I really like. He's actually a friend of mine. He's a folk musician, originally from Ann Arbor. He moved out to California, though, a couple of years ago. So he lives in Northern California on a commune and farms in trade for a place to stay. Super cool setup. So he just gets to farm and write music. He is incredibly talented. So check him out if you haven't. He's not super big in terms of popularity, but oh my gosh, he is amazing. Put a few of his songs on the Spotify playlist, but I am also working on another playlist. Instead of calling it Songs for Videos, I'm gonna have another playlist called Songs from Friends. I was lucky enough to meet a lot of amazing musicians in my years of touring, and got to meet a lot of people that I look up to and am inspired by. So I'm setting up that playlist too to share some of the people that I've been lucky enough to meet or even be friends with that put out some amazing music. But yeah, Sigur Rós, Chris Bathgate. I've been really into Logic lately. Let's see what else. Yeah, those are a few to keep you entertained. But I'll be continuing to make more Spotify playlists, especially hearing all this interest. So yeah, I'll keep that in mind. One last one I just thought of, This Will Destroy You, is another post-rock band. They are one of my favorites. I don't think it's their first album, but their second album, Young Mountain, is an iconic big album for me. I don't collect a lot of things, but I do have kind of a small vinyl record collection with some of my favorite albums. So I'll check that out. And I just remembered one last one to add in before we keep going. Death Cab for Cutie is an indie rock band. They're more popular though, so you've probably heard of them. They're one of my favorites too. Let's see. And local music scene out here. To be honest, I do not know. I know a lot about the local music scene back in Michigan just because I was a part of it. But I haven't really been to a ton of shows out here or really taken the time. I moved out here right when I started the YouTube channel, and honestly, I've abandoned a lot of other activities in pursuit of making videos for all of you. So sometime maybe I'll get more into the scene out here, but we'll see. Let's see. Where are we at? All right, Mike Light here. I'd love to hear you discuss the basics for photography, learning how to use the right settings like ISO, shutter speed, lens size, etc. How did you learn? Yeah, I would love to talk about that stuff and definitely plan on doing a lot more of it going forward. I have made a few videos in the past. If you check through, that cover some basic photography tips. But yeah, something I'm planning and brainstorming and working on ideas to share that sort of stuff more in depth going forward. So yeah, absolutely. How did I learn? I've learned exclusively from trial and error and YouTube videos. As silly as that sounds, there's so much information on YouTube and just the internet in general to learn anything you could want to learn. So most of everything I picked up on was from YouTube, but then I think the bigger majority out of those 2 points was just trial and error and learning on the fly. When I put out 2 videos a week for over 2 years straight, with missing maybe one upload in that 2-year period, I think. So when you stick yourself to that rigorous schedule, it really forces yourself to learn on the fly. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. So lots and lots of practice and YouTube videos. It also helps too. I talked about this in the stream the other day. As far as using the camera, I was fresh when I started the YouTube channel, but I did go to college for graphic design. So I studied composition and professional photo retouching and restoration and a lot of that sort of stuff, and understanding color theory and art history and a lot of that stuff that goes along with graphic design translates pretty well into video and photography. So I've kind of circled around it for so long. I've always loved photography and videography in general, but just never really knew how to use the camera. So once I got it sorted out, it's been a ton of fun. Let's see. Useful. Losing weight helps detox as most lipid-soluble stuff. Fats are embedded, if you will, and be released and hopefully urinated out. Just a theory. Yeah, exactly. When you eat healthier, your body will detox itself. You don't need to go on some sort of special cleanse. That's all just hokum and people trying to sell you stuff and people trying to promote their diets to lose 10 pounds in 3 days and all that sort of junk. Let's see. Tom Sawyer, when do we meet the missus? She's been in a ton of videos. Go back and watch. I have a playlist of day in the life videos. So there are vlogs I've made, usually one every couple of months or something. So go back and watch those. She's in all of those. And then also we did a while back, I did a couples Q&A. So she was in an AMA video with me. I think it was last fall. So definitely a lot of Camille on the channel. It's just not in the popular videos. The vlogs and stuff take a lot of time, and they're one of my favorite things to make. But yeah, they tend to not get all of the crazy clicks like some of the other videos do. But yeah, check those out. But Camille will be on the channel moving forward too. Let's see, Christian Durbin. They're doing live streaming at the Arnold in case you have anything you want to watch. Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern starts the strongman competition. Rogue put $50,000 for anyone that can beat 500 kilograms. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I'll have to keep that in mind. Yeah, Friday at 3. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for letting me know. Rohan, make a video tackling mental issues during heavy weight loss journey. I'd love to see because many people are going through the same. I've actually made a ton of videos about that. Like I said, I feel like I've covered just about everything I know about losing weight. So yeah, I've made a bunch of videos about, the mental struggles behind weight loss, but definitely something I want to work on in the future. I actually am trying to brainstorm an idea for like more of a documentary style video about childhood obesity, and talking about myself with childhood obesity in my past and everything, but just covering the topic in general kind of as a little mini documentary. That's something I've been trying to brainstorm and figure out in my head before I start shooting. But yeah, definitely tons of videos on the channel about the mental issues. So just kind of look through the backlog. The Walk With Me series, I feel like it's practically every third video in that whole playlist is something along those lines. Rohan, anyone watch the Oscars? I did not. Garrett, hey, how's it going? Brian Rogers, love them too. Found them through the Vanilla Sky soundtrack. What, oh, are you talking about Sigur Rós? I didn't realize they were in the Vanilla Sky. I don't think I ever actually saw Vanilla Sky. That's the Tom Cruise movie, if memory serves me right. I can picture the poster, but I don't think I've actually seen the movie. Um, let's see. Did you play with anyone back in Michigan? I played with a ton of bands back in Michigan. Yeah, too many to name. But yeah, definitely a ton of bands, a ton of national bands too. We weren't crazy huge or anything, but we got to go on a couple of national tours and stuff. Got to meet a lot of people. Got to meet a handful of bands and play with a handful of bands that I listened to and looked up to. When I was in high school and stuff. Yeah, so it was a ton of fun. I got to meet so many cool people and meet so many cool bands. I love Ben Rector. You should check him out. Oh yeah, I have a couple of his albums. I believe it's been years since I've listened to them, but yeah, I'll have to check that out. And thanks for the reminder. Callum, hi, how's it going? Steve, thanks for the thumbs up. Hey Gray, you finally made it into the stream. Glad you caught me on time this time. Let's see, Aaron Colby, have you found the switch to kill the sugar cravings? Um, Not really. It's something that sugar cravings usually go away over time. I'm also a big advocate, though. As much as sugar is not the most ideal, occasionally having something with sugar in it in your diet, as long as you track it and log it and it fits in your day, is completely fine. I probably indulge in the sweets a little bit more than I should these days because I have all those extra calories. But if you can make it fit into your day, a little bit of sugar here and there in moderation is completely okay. If you eating a cupcake once a week is going to help you maintain a 4-year long journey of losing weight, I say go for it. Technically it might not be the healthiest thing to do, but if you cut that out and you fail and then you have 6 months of backslide and you gain 20 pounds and do all that sort of stuff, I think you're far worse off than if you had that little bit of sugar in your diet. But that's a whole separate conversation. I just had a lot of struggles when I tried to do all those crazy restrictions, and since I started opening that up in my diet, that's when everything kind of turned mentally for me, and I was able to finish losing the weight. But yeah, so that's my kind of non-answer there. Have some sugar if you really want. Just make sure it fits in your day. But yeah, usually if you're lowering that down, it's a bit of an adjustment period in that first week. But as long as you're making sure that you eat enough calories and you're making sure to have enough carbs, that will really help offset. People will cut their calories way down when they cut out sugar or cut their carbs way down. And that low carb will really make you crave more carb heavy things like sugar. So make sure you're getting carbs from healthier sources and make sure you're getting enough carbs. Make sure you're eating enough, and that should help. Let's see. T.O., hey, how's it going? Mike Lightyear, thoughts on vlogging? Yeah, I love vlogging. I've got a few videos on the channel. I'll probably be doing more with my new schedule freedom. But yeah, I'm a big fan of vlogs. Brian Rogers, yes. Oh, okay, that was about Sigur Rós. Cool, I'll have to check out that soundtrack then. They I don't know if it was Sigur Rós or if it was just Alex Summers did the Captain Fantastic soundtrack a couple of years ago. That was so good. I used one of those songs in an Explore video a while back. I can't remember which one. I think it was the Neocani mountain hike video I did. But yeah, they do such great soundtracks. Gray says, I'm learning flexible dieting. I'm on week 3, learning as I go, but I'm hoping it gets less arduous. How long before it's all second nature? Week 3, you're still early. Don't worry too much. It'll get better and easier. It's always going to be a work in progress. Even for me now, I'm still learning new things and changing and adapting. But yeah, it gets easier the longer that you do it. The best advice I can give for keeping it easy, though, is meal prep. Prep your meals in advance, make sure everything's taken care of and easy, and make sure that the healthy choice and the easiest choice are the same thing. And meal prep is a big part of that. Christian Durbin. Haven't been able to give up pop, but working on consistency has been the biggest thing for me. Down 46 pounds, but another 36 to go, and then to keep it off. I think that'll be harder. Well, congrats on your weight loss so far. That's awesome. I'm sure if you keep going, you're more than halfway through. You'll probably get there before you know it. I've talked about how to cut soda cravings before. I used to drink exclusively apple juice and Mountain Dew, if you can believe that. Like I really didn't drink any water. It's gross to think about looking back now. But yeah, if I can do it, anybody can. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but just slowly, wean yourself down or make the switch to diet soda. This is kind of a similar story to the cupcake example I gave earlier. Diet soda might not be the most perfect healthy option, but in comparison to 200-300 grams of sugar, if you have a serious bad soda habit, I think it can be a useful tool to lean on while you're transitioning out of that. But yeah, just come up with replacements. I made a low-calorie cooking basics episode a few months back as well with my favorite soda alternatives. Seltzer water was huge for me. I wish I had started doing that years earlier. Just plain seltzer water comes in a can, just like a can of soda. To me, it kind of still quenches that desire for a soda, so we usually keep some of that in the apartment here. Kombucha is another big one. You get a little bit of sugar in there, but it's way less calories than soda usually is. Excuse me. But yeah, so kombucha is another good one. And there was a third one, I can't remember. Oh yeah, they do make a bunch of like zero sweetener energy drinks and things like that. They don't have any artificial sweeteners; they're just unsweetened. All of those three things have completely replaced soda in my life. I still have an energy drink or a soda every few weeks or month or a couple of months. I don't really keep too much track, but it's pretty intermittent these days. But yeah, those were always really helpful for me to lean on. Let's see. And oh yeah, as far as the maintenance, it feels really hard at first, but it does get easier and easier and easier the longer that you go at it. Daily weigh-ins was a huge game changer for me on that, just because you can't fix what you don't know. And if you stay on top of things, you're able to make easy tweaks or changes before it gets out of hand. Brian, yep, last song, Sigur Rós. I don't know. I never know how to pronounce any of their songs other than Gobbledygook. But I know what song you typed out. That's one of my favorites too. That's one of their older ones. Valtari is probably my favorite Sigur Rós album, but I love them all. My wife and I actually got married to a song from Valtari. She walked down the aisle to it. It's the song that starts with a V. It's like VAROU something. I don't know. For anyone that is not understanding this conversation, the band's Icelandic, so all their songs are in a different language, so I don't even know how to say it. Tana Does Tech. Hey, Josh. How's it going, Tana? Brian Rogers. Radiohead was on there as well. Radiohead's great. Phil. Hey, how's it going? Aaron Cube. That's not a non-answer. That's a good answer. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you appreciated it. No problem. Zakari, do you have any binges when you were losing weight? I don't know. I hesitate to use the term binge eating because I feel like it was a lot less severe for me than a lot of people struggle with. So I don't want to make light of the more serious problems that people have with binge eating compared to myself. I ate like a glutton, but I wouldn't necessarily call it like completely mindless binge eating. I was still like eating and enjoying what I was, but I was way overeating from time to time. But I had a bad habit when I was losing weight where I would mess up and I would hide from the mistake. I would just stop weighing myself because I messed up. I didn't want to know how bad I messed up, so I just let that spiral and get worse and worse. Once I cut that out, really made a big difference for me. But yeah, I didn't really have any severe issues with binging, luckily, but I definitely did my fair share of overeating. Christian, I found that Hershey's Kisses work pretty well. Serving is 7 kisses for 160 calories. Wow, that's actually, pretty great. I do 2 to 3 when I'm getting a bad craving, making sure to savor them, let them melt in my mouth. That is a great strategy. Appreciate you sharing for everybody. See, stuff like that is exactly what I recommend, because he's not cutting it out. He's figuring out a healthy way to incorporate it into his life and still enjoy it and appreciate it. I have been working for the last few years to try and eat a little more slowly and a little more mindfully, and making sure to only eat when I'm hungry, and making sure to really enjoy the things I eat, and and just trying to be more mentally in control of what I'm doing, and that makes a big impact. I'm nowhere near perfect with that, but I try and keep that in mind. Brian, hey brother, how are you? I'm doing very well. Hope you're doing well too. Christian Durbin, do you have any tips on lighting a big space? I have a problem with 4 fluorescent bulbs, and the videos are all grainy. Big spaces are super difficult. I even struggle with my lighting up my whole office here. If you notice a lot of my videos that are tighter shots, the lighting usually looks better. I had a few rough episodes of the Low Calorie Cooking Basics show trying to light my whole kitchen. Usually you just need a lot of lights, but a really important thing that helped for me, you can bounce light off the ceiling a lot of times if you have a lighter ceiling, which most people do, and that'll kind of help illuminate the room a little bit easier. That always helps for me. But yeah, lighting big rooms is difficult, especially I only have 2 lights myself, so it can be a bit problematic. But yeah, the ceiling trick seems to help a lot for me if you need more even diffused light. But yeah, soft boxes too will help kind of spread that light out a little bit further. Yeah, hopefully that helps for you. Let's see. Bobster Tech. Hey man, tried changing my eating habits countless times, and I always go back to my old ways. Do you have any advice to stay consistent? Yes, I do. I've got the perfect advice ready to go. Make the healthy choice the easiest choice to make. People don't really think about it that way when they're dieting always. You want to make sure that you have your meals prepped and that you have every right decision be the easiest one. If you have a problem with overeating on some sort of food that's in your house, just take that food out, replace it with something different. If you don't have that temptation around, if it's a problem food for you, you have to come up with a replacement or a substitute, whether it's an activity even can be a substitute, say if you're snacking too much, or if you like a certain type of food, try and think of an alternative. If you're snacking on chips all the time, swap that out for vegetables. You can eat vegetables for like 2 hours straight and only eat a couple hundred calories probably. So trying to think of those simple tweaks and making sure to prepare them and have them ready whenever you need them. Because the path of least resistance is always going to be the one that you go on. You might be able to fight that for a short period of time, but usually losing weight, even if you only have 20, 30 pounds or something like that to lose, you still it takes a long time. It's not something like a weekend. You can usually fight through a weekend to do something, but you want to follow that path of least resistance. So make that path the right one, and that will really help. And also just trial and error in general, learning what works and doesn't work for you just comes with practice and experience. Aaron, SodaStream for the win. Absolutely. I don't have a SodaStream, but essentially the same sort of thing. I've thought about getting one. Outdoors with Zeke. How do you stop overeating? Eat higher volume foods. I was just talking about a second ago, raw vegetables is great for that. If you like to snack or you like to eat really huge portions or you're just overeating in general, replace those with lower calorie, higher volume foods. Vegetables is always my go-to. Grade, do you miss aspects of your job like the people, the routine, etc.? Did you make friends there? I don't really miss anything about my job, to be honest. I do have a couple of friends there, but I've kept in touch with a handful of people. But there's not much that I am missing there. I'm living my dream job right now. Things are still stressful and busy and still tired and whatnot, but it's I get to wake up every day and work on exactly what I want to work on. I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't have to do things I don't want to do. It is amazing. So yeah, I'm kind of like living the reward right now after so many years of trying to get to this point. So I definitely don't miss it. Yeah, that's about it. Let's see. Switch for the sugar cravings. Tough one for me. Not necessarily the healthy option is artificial sweeteners, mostly in diet drinks. Other than that, it's darn tough. Yeah, that's what, like I said, I'm a big advocate for leaning on diet drinks and stuff like that too, and artificial sweeteners. I think they have their place in moderation, and I think they can be very useful. I definitely leaned on them heavy when I was in the deepest parts of my diet. Christian Durbin, I've watched your pop videos and I'm down to one a day, but the replacements just don't work yet. Weighing in every day has helped a ton, made a spreadsheet that logs my weight, graphs it out. That's a great strategy with the spreadsheet. Perfect. Yeah, like I said, I'm a big fan of the daily weigh-ins. I know it's not for everybody, but if you are someone like me, I saw a lot of benefit from it. Yeah, and as far as the soda, have you tried to switch to diet soda? If you're down to one a day, have a diet soda, and you kind of learn to adjust to the taste. I was always, when I was growing up and in the thick of my 2 liter a day soda habit, I hated diet soda and thought it was gross and blah blah blah. Once you kind of get used to it, it's not too bad. But yeah, keep working on it. Some big things like that and those big changes just take time sometimes. Philip Hartman asked, how did you figure out what weight you wanted to aim for? It was just kind of one of those things you had to play by ear. When I was heavier, 200 pounds was like I was going to be thin as a rail and have a six pack in my head. Like that was the best possible end result I could have possibly had. And so it's good to kind of have those general goals if you have a ton of weight to lose. But yeah, it's one of those things you just kind of play it by ear and you keep working at it. I know for me, when I started to get closer to that 200 mark, and then I realized, I wasn't really going to look the way I had pictured in my head. So I lowered it down a little bit more and lowered it down a little bit more. And if you're someone that struggles with that, it could possibly get out of hand. But yeah, you just kind of have to adjust on the fly. I'm actually at my lightest weight right now than I have ever been. It's kind of nuts. It was 2017. I cut down from 170 to 180, or 180 to 170, and then from there I've kind of hovered around 180 since 2017. With my change in routine and busyness lately, I've actually been dropping weight slowly over the last few months. So I'm actually at 169 right now, which is absolutely crazy. I tend to really like being in that 170 to 175 range for me. I feel lean, I feel good, I feel healthy. I like how I look. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'd like to be at. But yeah, it's one of those things you just kind of have to play it by ear and kind of see where you end up, because it's not always what you think. Let's see. Christian Durbin. Pole barn, unfortunately, has no ceiling and no insulation. Super fun lifting the pole barn. We'll try and install some more lights. Ooh, that is tough if you have no ceiling. See, a big pole barn, all I picture is a single beam of light coming down on a subject in the dark. Lighting that evenly, yeah, is probably going to require a ton of lights. That sounds very problematic, and I am sorry for you. Hopefully it works a little bit better for you. Usually when you have those big rooms with the high ceilings, that big productions will use, yeah, they have big overhead lights and they have fixtures that they can mount lights to, and tens and thousands of dollars of lighting equipment to use. It's tough for us that don't have $1 billion to spend on gear. Yeah, that would be really tough. I think you just need more and more lights. Mike Lightyear, have to go back to work. Love the content. Thank you so much, Mike. Have a good rest of your day. Hopefully work isn't too bad. Mayank Mather, love your minimal setup. Thank you so much. I've been super happy with it. It feels so good having my own separate space. And I'm sure anyone else that's married to, not that I don't love spending time with my wife, but it's nice having, my own quiet little area to work in. It's very, very nice. And she's not quite the minimalist that I am. She is definitely more minimal than I think a lot of people are in terms of clutter and messiness and all that stuff. But I know I get a little extreme, so I like having my little kind of private nook here to work out of without any extra stuff. It feels great. Oh, lost my chat. Let's see. All right, Tom Sawyer. How do you know how many calories you've burnt during exercise? There's not really a good way to know, to be honest. A lot of the tracking fitness bands and watches and all that stuff will give you a rough estimate, but that's about it. I'm never someone that really recommends using your exercise calories as eating more food, though. I would recommend, calculate your TDEE, your daily calorie burn, subtract 500 from that, go from there. Any exercise is just kind of icing on the cake. That's kind of how I treat it, because a lot of those things that will try and track your exercise, they don't account for the fact that you're burning calories for that hour, regardless of what you're doing. Your daily calorie burn, even if you're laying in bed all day, you're still going to burn a set amount of calories. So say you're working out for an hour, that doesn't get taken out of the equation most of the time, as far as I'm aware of, at least. So it's usually pretty inaccurate. I always just recommend to treat it as extra. Whatever happens. Yeah, hopefully that helps for you. Eat useful, eat slow, meal prepping. Absolutely. Christian Durbin. Diet gives me headaches immediately, and the taste isn't great. The headaches are what prevents me from switching to diet. I can totally get that. That's one of the reasons why I had been moving away from soda over the last couple of years. I actually ran into some digestive issues with having too much artificial sweetener. I get a little bit bloated and uncomfortable, but yeah, I have heard of that with some people with headaches. Just keep trying different drinks and alternatives. I am a bit of a, I don't want to say drink snob, because I'm not really snobby. I'll have normal, tap water and cheap beer and, Lipton tea and all that stuff. But when I started moving away from the soda, I knew I needed to find some sort of good replacement. And I love researching and getting obsessed about stuff. So right when I first started switching, I got really into loose leaf tea. And I just dove into that whole world and kind of learned about different types of tea and learned about different flavors and just got really wrapped up into the whole thing of it. And I did the same with coffee as well. And I always love trying, different random drinks and stuff like that. You see all those the fancy drink section at the grocery store. So just keep trying different stuff, see what works, and just make sure to give it time. And if it comes down to it, if you want to have a full sugar regular soda once or twice a week or something, once a day might be a little much to fit in for most people's diets. But if you want to have that as a treat once or twice a week, as long as you're fitting it in your daily calories, I'd say go for it. If that's your big thing that's important for you. Cameron, what's your dream project to work on as a producer videographer? I don't really know. That's a great question, Cameron. We talked about this actually a little bit a couple of weeks ago with, I've been trying to figure out, if I did work on a bigger project, what roles in a movie set or something I would like to be. I love the idea of working on kind of a smaller indie movie as a DP or an editor. DP is a director of photography or a cinematographer. They are one of the head people in charge of getting interesting compositions and framing and lighting and kind of managing all of the cool looks that you'd see in a movie. I always think that would be super cool. I'm also I love editing, so so much of the story in a movie is told through the editing. But I think working on some sort of small budget, small team, really artsy indie movie would be super cool. If anyone's seen the movie Drive, I love a lot of the cinematography and stuff in that. But yeah, working on a cool like artsy indie movie I think would be a lot of fun. But beyond that, I in general, I love making videos for YouTube. I get to I'm lucky enough to get to create essentially whatever I want. Obviously some stuff you have to weigh out, like if anyone's actually going to want to watch this or if it's just for me. I blend that line a little bit sometimes, but yeah, I just love being able to have the freedom to work on my own projects. But yeah, I'd love to work on some sort of short film or indie movie or something I think would be really cool. I also love the idea of doing documentary work. Yeah, I'm open to everything and still just learning and enjoying the process for now, though. Let's see, Brian Drumcold. Do you work out first thing in the morning? I usually don't, actually. So in the morning, I wake up super early, feed Wolfie, get some coffee, answer comments, answer emails, answer DMs, post on all my Instagram accounts and do all that stuff. And then usually around then was right around when I started this live stream. And then I would go usually around 10 or 11 a.m. I'll go work out and then I'll eat breakfast. Is tends to be my thing. I used to work out earlier in the morning at different points in my life and my schedule, but I like waking up slowly and having coffee and kind of relaxing and getting some work done first. And I think the meal and the exercising is a good segment to my day. Because the first chunk of my day is kind of like businessy paperwork sort of stuff with answering emails and whatnot. And then the second half of my day, I'm editing or I'm shooting a video or I'm, talking about a project with somebody. Let's see. Morning or later in the day? Oh, yeah. Okay. I already got it covered. Philip Hartman, thanks. I used to weigh 186 a while ago, currently at 164. That's awesome. I know you told me you were losing weight a while ago and doing well. I can't remember what your last progress update was, but it's good to hear that you're doing well still. Keep up the good work. Yeah, Philip lives here in Portland with me. We've been Instagram DM buddies for a while. Gray, how much water do you drink in a day? I probably... I used to drink a lot more water. Perfect timing to quench my parchness. I don't think that's a word. Yeah, now that I'm not working at my old store anymore, I used to drink a ton more water when I was there. I probably am somewhere around a gallon a day right now. Yeah, I drink pretty much exclusively water with the exception of some coffee in the morning. Occasionally I'll have other things, but yeah, it's usually just water all day, and I just keep it by my side all the time. And yeah, probably about a gallon. Saeed, hello, how are you doing? FYI from Uduseful, I'm 6 foot 154. Stated my transformation was at 270. I thought at 175 I'd see abs. Wrong. It wasn't until 158 that they finally punched through. Moral of the story: take time and be consistent. You're absolutely right. Yeah, even me right now being at 169, or I think it's 168 point something. Let me check. Quick sidestep with that. If anyone wants to do the daily weigh-ins or weekly weigh-ins, if you have an iPhone, there's an app called Weight Diary that will you just enter in your weight and it makes a graph of everything. So you can set and see graphs over time. It's super, super convenient. I don't know. That's probably not exposed, right? Well, it's the app's just called Weight Diary if you want to check it out. But that's what I use to track my weigh-ins. But yeah, even with my weight right now, it's I'm nowhere near seeing abs. I know I have blue skin, so that plays a factor. But I still have some fat in there on my stomach. But yeah, you have to be super lean for having abs. People, you see a lot of stuff with like workouts to get abs, and the best workout to get abs is dieting. Yep. Let's see. Saeed, sir, I started a stream. If you have things that you don't use, you can give me, please. Yeah, I don't really have anything I don't use. Yeah, you can start saving up and get some gear. Yeah, it is quite expensive. getting gear for the YouTube channel sometimes. But yeah, I am not in any place to afford to be handing out gear. Sorry about that. Yeah, does anyone else have any other questions or anything? Yeah. Let's see. Well, perfect segue now that there's a bit of a lull. We're on day 4 of daily streams now. I've been streaming every day to kind of help promote. I'm going to be starting. I am starting. It's a new weekly live show, just like this one, through my Patreon page. Patreon is a service that you can set up for subscriptions to help support creators like me, where you get extra perks and extra content and kind of bonuses and different things like that. So I recently relaunched that. So I have some exclusive behind the scenes content. I have a weekly live show now that I'll be doing every Thursday. You get early access to the YouTube videos. I have a photography club where I send you out a fine art print every month. We have a book club and coffee club. I set up all sorts of stuff over there if you wanted to check that out. It's patreon.com/Josh Fenn. But I'd love it if you took the time and checked that out and considered supporting. Lots of cool stuff that'll be going on there. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this will be the last day of the daily streams, but I'll still be streaming on the regular channel regularly, so don't worry. But I'll also have that weekly stream for the Patreon folks. Syed, Alexander Smith, nice office setup. Thank you so much. Steph Myers, hey Josh, thanks for answering my questions from yesterday and Tuesday. Answer really helped. Glad to hear that. That's awesome. I get so much benefit from helping people, so I really appreciate it. Gray asks, if it's not too personal, are you stressed about money? No, not really. I'm still working on building up all my income and everything from switching, going full time into the freelancing, but that's not really what the Patreon is for. It was just a way, it's a way for me to make some different sorts of content and have different interactions and clubs and kind of special things with all of you that wouldn't really work directly on my YouTube channel. Like yesterday, I posted a kind of behind the scenes quick little vlog that showing how I set up my acoustic panels in my studio yesterday, and I just shot it with my phone. It was a quick little thing. Anyone that is a big fan of the channel, they don't really care about the cell phone footage, but my YouTube channel, now that I'm getting more into my business, kind of has to serve as a platform and a collection of my work to get clients and to get jobs. So I want to make sure and keep the production quality here. So I'm able to post kind of more casual content there without potentially scaring off someone that might want to hire me for a job. So that's kind of the main thing. But the other big thing, having a separate book club on there, I think will be really cool. I have the photography club and the coffee club. Sending out a fine art photography print is costs $50 a person, maybe $60 a person, maybe. So that's just something I can't really offer through YouTube. So this is just a good platform for me to have some different options available. Yeah. And the other thing with that too, it'll also help kind of diversify all of my different work and my YouTube channel. In case YouTube shuts down tomorrow, I still have access to all of my core audience, and I'm still able to create things for them and get in touch with everybody, and still able to keep all this other stuff going on. So it's so all of that stuff's not really because I'm super worried about money, and I don't mean to be begging for cash from everybody, but it's just some different stuff that I am able to provide there that I wouldn't normally be able to, because my bill for the YouTube channel is definitely in the thousands over the past few years, and so it just helps offset some of the cost, and you get some extra perks for helping support. Let's see, Alexander Smith. Can you share some relationship advice? That's tough. I did in my AMA the other day, but without any specifics. Could you elaborate a little bit more, or is that too personal? Um, in general, though, my general relationship advice that applies to most things is communicate. Whoever you're having a problem with. Oh, okay. In terms of moving in together, in terms of a small space and small apartment. Okay, yeah. It's an adjustment for sure, but yeah, rounding back to my other point, yeah, communicating and talking about that stuff is always going to be super important to keep the relationship happy and healthy. So talk through, if there's something that you're having an issue with, don't be afraid to speak up about it. Or if there's something that you like on the flip side of that, if there's something that you appreciate from the other person, don't be afraid to tell them that too. It's a team and a collaborative effort, so just communicate as best you can. And there's always going to be some adjustment pains when you're moving in with somebody. Let's see. Philip, hey, I'm new here. What's up? How are you doing? Avi, Seth, what motivates you? I don't have a great answer for this. I've always been very, very self-motivated and driven. As of right now, the potential for having complete freedom in my life to do what I want, when I want, how I want is what motivates me. That's probably the best answer I can give. I'll just keep it nice and short. But yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? Anything at all? I am past due for the gym and breakfast, so I might be signing off here soon if anyone has anything they want to get out before I leave. This has been so much fun, though. Part of the reason, other than, promoting the new show and all that sort of stuff, but I was just super excited to get all my live streaming gear. So it's been fun doing this every day with all of you and getting to chit chat with everybody. Let's see. Ryan Blundell, beard balm versus beard oil versus beard wax, or nothing at all. I'm a big fan of beard oil. I have been a loyal customer to Beard Brand for 5-6 years now, something like that. I can't remember. My sister got me a thing of Beard Brand beard oil as a Christmas gift years and years ago, and I just loved it. And I looked up the company, and I loved the company even more. The people that run it are great. Eric Banholtz has his own separate YouTube channel too, which is really cool. So Beard Brand beard oil has always been my go-to. I've never actually tried anything else as far as the balm or the wax. I've never tried it, so I can't really speak to it, but I've always really enjoyed the beard oil. Avisheth, love the videos so much. Thank you so much. Glad you enjoy them. I love making them. Alexander Schmidt, audio quality is real good. Thank you. I just got this mic brand new for the streams and for voiceovers moving forward. It's the Rode NT USB. I feel very legit. I feel like I'm like a radio broadcaster with a cool late night show. I'm glad the quality sounded good. It took me a couple of days to get it synced with the video properly, but I've been super impressed with this mic. You might also notice a bit of a difference because I installed acoustic panels right behind this camera here. Yesterday I got those set up, so I've got 2 big panels, but it should even be sounding better. I ordered it a couple weeks ago, but it should be here tomorrow. I have an acoustic blanket. So essentially, I have a big, almost empty room here that gets very echoey, and they make acoustic foam panels. You've probably seen them around, but they make acoustic foam panels you can stick to the wall that help block some of that sound bouncing around your room. And then they also make something called an acoustic blanket, or you'll hear it called a sound blanket sometimes. That just helps absorb again some of that sound so it doesn't bounce around the whole room. So I'm actually getting that sound blanket tomorrow. It should make the audio sound even better, but I'm glad that it sounded good. Fernando, what's up, man? Loving the new direction you're taking. Thank you so much. I was a little worried about it. It's not that I don't love talking about weight loss and all that sort of stuff, but it's been a few years, and the channel's been kind of slowly evolving into what it is now. And I've been super happy with it, and I feel like kind of rebranding it to my name really makes me hold it to my own personal standard more than it used to be. If that makes sense, it probably sounds a little weird, but yeah, I've been just really trying to create things to the best of my ability and exactly how I would like to. So I'm glad you're liking it as much as I am too. You're useful with your calm demeanor, positive attitude, and excellent advice. Why don't you run for president? That sounds like an awful job. Yeah, I would never want to be president. No way, not for me. Gray, as I'm doing flexible dieting, I've been looking at your back catalog. There's so much information. Videos are so high quality. I must admit, I'm a bit nostalgic for Walk With Me. Well, don't worry. I mean, Walk With Me is not going away. It's just evolved and a little bit different. Like I said, I made that seasonal depression video a couple weeks back, and that's essentially just a Walk With Me video, but just with some, B-roll shots and different relevant shots about what I'm talking about. So that's kind of the direction I want to take this series going forward. But yeah, things change and adapt. I think we had 100 episodes, maybe 100 plus. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, so it was a good run and a good series, and it's something I definitely plan to incorporate and bring into all the videos. But new change, new situation, new types of videos. Hopefully, you enjoy the new ones just as much. Let's see. Fernando, Grave Before Shave Beard Balm is pretty great. Nice. I'll have to check that out. The Fem Geek, I was just looking at that mic on Amazon, thinking of getting it with the whole kit. I actually found, because I think I didn't look at everything, but the kit I saw was just the mic with this arm, or an arm, a different one from this, but it was 240 or something like that, but I got the mic was 170, and then I got this separately for 20. So see if you can piece it together a little bit cheaper. That's what I did. I've got links in some of the more recent videos if you do want to check it out. Last call, how's it going? Nice to hear from you. I'm glad you made it into the stream. Yuzawa Nico, what camera do you use? The quality and overall image looks great. I use a Sony a7 III. I have the Zeiss Batis 25mm lens on there right now, but I have it cropped in to the APS-C mode. With the camera, you can kind of use two different focal lengths with the same lens for video at least. It's great. But yeah, I got that camera, I think May or June last year. Put up a few videos talking about it, but yeah, it has been just as flawless as a camera in my budget can get. Let's see, what camera do you use? Last call. Yes, I may have missed it. What's the mic setup? Oh yeah, you did miss it. No big deal. This is the Rode NT USB. Just picked it up a couple days ago. So far, it has been great. Alexander Schmidt, like the new format, excited to see what comes next. Thank you so much. I am very excited too. The possibilities feel so endless now because my schedule is so free. It was difficult, navigating the videos and working full time and trying to improve and get better because I was so strapped for time where I wasn't stuck in my job. I would have to rush and get everything done so quickly. So now I can take a little bit more time on things, and especially because I lightened up the release schedule on here for the short term to help as I build up my other businesses. But it's, feels great. Thank you. I think, one more question here. Is there some information about your Patreon, etc., via your channel? Actually, let me put in the link into the chat here. But I put out a video on Tuesday that covers all of the tiers in a little bit more detail. So head back. The video, I think, is 14 minutes long. So check that. Today's Thursday. Yeah, it was on Tuesday. And it's announcing my new live show, book club, and more, I think is the title of the video. So check that out. But I'll put a link to the Patreon page in the chat here. But yeah, it would really mean the world to me if you want to join us over there. Yeah, I've got some cool stuff I tried to set up for everybody. Finer Things Club, which is like a coffee club and a book club. I have the photo club where I send you out one of my landscape photography prints in a 16 by 20 fine art quality. I mail that out to you, and I also make a exclusive video about how I made it. We've got the weekly live show now going forward. We've got early access to the YouTube videos. I've got behind the scenes videos. Yeah, super excited about all of it. So yeah, head over and check it out. Let's see. So what do you think of the latest Joe Rogan podcast with Alex Jones? I actually have never listened or watched a Joe Rogan episode before. It's been in my queue. It's been recommended to me so many times, and it's been in my subscription queue for like a year and a half or 2 years or something now, and I just haven't gotten around to it. There's just too many podcasts and not enough time. So yeah, can't speak on it. Never actually seen. K, why did I get recommended this, sir? Do you mean the stream? Are people recommending the stream? I'm not sure. Well, hopefully, go back and watch the earlier parts. Answered a bunch of questions. But yeah, well, that's going to wrap it up for me, everybody. This does conclude my stretch of daily live streams. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. But yeah, be sure to check out the Patreon. Be sure to leave me a comment. If you have any questions about anything, send me an email, send me a DM. Always down to chat, but really appreciate you all taking the time. And if there's anything I can ever do for you, just let me know. But I'm going to sign off now, go to the gym, go get some breakfast. I will talk to you all later. Have a good one.